Brother POLIGHT, your sovereign and illustrious Supreme Grand Apperception of NuCovenant, and I'm here talking to one of our most honorable and active members of NuCovenant, Brother Eric Burton. And we are pleased to share with you a wealth of information. So during this particular correspondence, I want you to get ready to take your pen and your pad out and take notes. He's going to be sharing quite a bit of information with us. And it is my pleasure to introduce you all to him, our well-wishers, our advocacies, and the likes. Because again, he has a wealth of information that he's going to be sharing with us this day. Well, this evening, we in California. So, let's hit it from the top. You have a mining company that is pretty much going to do something for us, or somehow we're going to be contributing to it. I want you to really expound on it, Doc. I want you to really give us some pearls of wisdom, first and foremost. Give us an idea of what it is that you have to offer to our community that is of huge significance in terms of financial and spiritual freedom.
All right, well, like you said, brother, my name is Eric Burton, also known as Uriah. I'm with Uriah Republic. Well, to answer your question, I bring what's real. I'm bringing what's real. And, in my former life as a mortgage broker, mortgage banker, nonprofit banker, we dealt in what we thought was real, which is credit instruments. Once the system goes through its business cycle of putting money into the system, making credit available,
Yes.
and then pulling money out of the system in this business cycle, which is restricting credit, you really learn and understand that credit is not an asset.
That's right.
It's really a liability masked as an asset.
Mm.
So they make you think it's an asset when they want to give it to you, right? When they want to make money on their money, but when they want to take it away from you, it's not an asset at all. So as a fundraiser, I was the funding PVO, which is a private voluntary organization, for a consortium of contractors. And what my job was to do, or what my PVO was to do, was to fund the projects in 65 different countries.
Yes.
So what I would do is I would raise funds and match those with sovereign projects from 65 different countries: China, Panama, Brazil, Ghana, you name it. So we funded humanitarian and commercial projects in 65 different countries, okay? So what we would raise is we would raise credit instruments, and we would match those to projects so we can then fund those projects.
Gotcha.
And this is the scenic route of getting to what's really real. So when the entire system crashed, 2007, 2008, we learned that the credit that we had wasn't real at all. But it actually created it wasn't just a liability, but it created deficits. Gotcha. Because it took us money to develop these projects out over time.
Yes.
And as we developed these projects out, what we learned is, okay, the real money, the cash that we put into the project to gain the support of an investor, now to fund the project, it wasn't there anymore. So the system had crashed. But we believe it was manipulated to crash.
That's right.
So we had to get to what's real.
What's real? What's real, my brother?
Yeah, so what's real
That's what we need to know.
is God's creation. What's real is gold and silver.
Mm.
That's what's real. And
gold and silver.
Gold and silver is what's real.
Oh.
It's the standard. Most people say, okay, let me look at the gold market to see if gold went up or if gold went down in value.
Gotcha.
But gold doesn't go up or down in value. What's traded against gold and silver goes up or down in value because gold is the standard.
Gotcha.
Precious metals, precious minerals, oil, soybeans, corn, whatever it is, it's real. But the credit instruments traded against it is not real. So those are what's going up or down in value.
Gotcha.
Which means to buy the same ounce of gold, 10 years ago it cost me $250.
Yes.
That ounce of gold hasn't changed unless you change the measurement of an ounce.
That's right.
The weight of an ounce. It doesn't change. But what changed was the devaluation of the dollar. So now it takes many more dollars to buy the same ounce of gold. Right.
Gotcha.
So we know what's real now. We know what's the currency isn't real. It's fluctuating in its buying power, but the gold is the standard.
So oftentimes, because of course you know as well as the membership, many people feel like we didn't consider that we need, they will say a military front. Of course we wouldn't use that terminology. And then they're coming to realize in our community that we have taken that into consideration. We just do not want to be pinched or stigmatized by the way we are able to project that front, because we understand that we are so serious about what we do and it could come off intimidating. Likewise, the way we've been able to generate revenue in our community on an individual scale, yet at a collective at the same time, many people started saying to us in the community, but what if the dollar falls? What if the dollar falls? And I know they confide in the almighty dollar more than they say, because they only talk about the dollars if there's no other forms of currency. But the reality is this, because we talking about what's real. As a NuCovenant member, I want you to express of your own free will and accord, and based on your own intellectual property, and based on your own divinity. I want you to make it simple and plain. If or should the dollar fall, do we have a safety measure? And do we not have the best safety measure, best precautionary step? What is prerequisite anyway to building wealth? You understand what I'm saying? I want you to address the question. I hear you guys are making all this money, but when the dollar fall, where's that going to leave you guys?
Right. Okay. Well, to answer your question is this. Throughout history, throughout known history, written history, gold has been an inflation-proof security.
That's right.
Silver has been traded as an inflation-proof, depression-proof, recession-proof security.
Love how you word it.
Right. So we know that if the dollar falls, what is the safety net? What is the safety mechanism? And the dollar is a reserve currency, so if the dollar falls, I don't care if you're diversified into other currencies, they're going to fall too, because it's the reserve. The dollar backs their currency.
That's right.
So we actually need to get out of the currency system and get into a system that's really, really real. We need to diversify into gold and silver. We have to diversify into gold and silver simply because if you look at all the charts, all the graphs, that whenever the dollar loses value, gold and silver goes up in value. It goes up in value.
Say that again.
So as the dollar loses its buying power or loses its value, right? Gold and silver goes up in value.
I hope they're taking notes.
Right. Now keep in mind, gold and silver, they're precious metals. They are the standard, right?
Yes.
So they really don't go up in value. But what they do is it takes many more dollars to buy the same amount of ounces of gold and silver.
Yes.
So what protects us in an inflationary time, in a depression, recession, or deflation, is to be diversified into gold and silver so that we have a safety mechanism in our family structure.
That's right.
So that we're not in the soup line.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
We're not in the soup line.
And true leaders will plan for those circumstances because we prepare for the best and anticipate the worst.
Right.
You understand? So I want to ask you, what is this? This is interesting. And what significance does this have in a real life situation in contrast to this, which these are the same things? This is a silver bar, and these are grains of silver.
All right, well, what we call this silver grain.
Yes.
We can also get it in gold form, gold grain. This is a silver bar. The difference is mainly commercial uses.
Yes.
Okay. We use this in a monetary system. You can put it in the bank. You can save it. You can spend it. You can also do the same with this. The problem is, as we've seen in Zimbabwe,
Question before we go there. Will we just put this in a regular bank and just throw it in a box? Or is there a way to equate this with currency in real time?
Okay. And yes to both your questions. One is you can get a safe deposit box.
Yes.
And you can store your gold and silver in your safe deposit box. I really don't recommend it. I don't recommend it, but it can be done.
Yeah.
A better way to store your gold and silver is to have a metals account.
That's right.
With a depository.
Like we got. Go ahead.
Yeah. A metals account with a depository. So you have a deposit account where you can call in, buy more gold or silver, add that so you can accumulate over time. Our recommendation is to convert a good portion of your cash reserves into gold and silver as a safety mechanism because it's highly liquidable. It's highly liquidated, which means the day you want to sell gold or silver, you can sell it.
That's right.
Convert those funds back into dollars and then buy what you need to buy.
That's right.
Or invest in what you need to invest in.
That's right.
And once you get your returns, convert it back into gold or silver, because as the dollar falls in value, if it falls in value, then what takes place is your gold and silver actually goes up in value. So you'll see the monetary value of your account rising.
That's right.
Rising.
You see, we've been told to buy gold and silver, but after that point, a lot of us didn't know what to do. A lot of us just got it in the house sitting somewhere, thinking it's going to go down just like that. We're going to have gold coins. Why would I not want to have a gold or silver bar in my hand during an extreme time of need where the community is thrusted into extreme poverty or destitution? I want you to give me a circumstance where this might even be relevant.
Right. Okay. Well, we can go to hyperinflation.
Yes.
In the near past, we've seen Argentina go through a hyperinflationary period to where their currency was devalued to zero.
Yes.
The money was worthless completely. That was about 15 years ago.
And what would that do to real estate?
Well, real estate goes to zero in a depression or hyperinflationary period.
Yes.
The value of real estate goes to zero.
Yes.
Right.
Because no one can purchase houses.
Because nobody can buy, nobody can pay rent, but everyone still has to have somewhere to live.
That's right.
So you can't justify taking the houses from the people, they just live there free. And you can go to third world countries, every third world country you go to, the cost of housing is almost zero.
Got you.
Every third world country you go to, I live in Ghana, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 houses in Ghana.
That's right.
Well, one of the houses that I rent for about $200 a month. But it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. Well, how can you rent a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that's the same in America, in Ghana, is because of the economy. The value of their currency is very, very low. And there's a couple other factors in there as well.
Of course.
Right? But the point I'm trying to make is in an inflationary period,
Yes.
a depression,
Yes.
recession, property values go down.
Gotcha.
Depressions, they go down to zero. Hyperinflation, they go down to zero because nobody can afford a house.
Got you.
Right?
And what does that do for other goods and services that one may need to buy, and the value of the dollar is going down to the point it's almost null and void to even conceptualize spending it? Where does this fit in?
Well,
Hypothetically speaking.
well, you know what's real at this point. That you know that you can't trust the value of the dollar, right?
Yes.
But you can trust gold and silver.
Yes.
Last 5,000 years, it's been a proven monetary system. And even in this country, gold and silver is money.
All the time.
It's money.
Every day of the week.
Every country on this planet, gold and silver is money. So the difference between gold bars and gold grain in used in a depression or hyperinflation situation is this bar has worth because of its weight. Well, I can't divide the weight of this bar unless I cut it into pieces.
Yes.
Right? So let's just say I'm trying to buy a loaf of bread. Well, let's just say this 1 ounce bar is now valued at $1,000.
Yes.
Well, I'm not going to pay $1,000 for a loaf of bread when a loaf of bread is $10.
Yes.
So the purpose of having gold grain is that I can take a small piece, maybe 1/10 of an ounce, and now buy my loaf of bread or buy whatever I'm trying to buy, my fruits and vegetables, my milk, my, fuel for my vehicle. I can section this off by weight a lot better than this.
Makes sense. I mean, and the reason why I asked that is because we have a lot of people that are buying gold and silver, right?
Right.
And amongst other things that need to be identified, because they'll buy a so-called Troy ounce .999 gold coin that really isn't worth that money in the first place. That's another situation. But because we know
because they're buying it for numismatic value.
What's that?
Well, numismatic value is a coin that has value because it has history associated with it. So that coin, based on its
Buffalo stamp or something like
its
that.
history, the time of minting, or if it was a part of a set. Let's just say there's only 4 of these coins in existence around the world. Well, based on that, supply and demand now creates an associated value to that set. So if a person can accumulate that set, it becomes worth something because it's the only set available.
How come it doesn't have the same intrinsic value?
That's the word, intrinsic value. Intrinsic value is based on the weight and fine gold content or fine silver content.
Gotcha.
So if you take a 1 ounce bar, right,
yes,
that you printed 1 million of them,
yes,
right, and so it only has intrinsic value, 0.999% 1 troy ounce, right?
yes.
Or if you take a set where they've only minted 3 of them in the world, so now it has what's called a numismatic value,
yes,
which means the value of the coins as a set.
yes.
So they may sell for $1 million because somebody may say, hey, I want that set, and I want to be the only one to have that set, and because I got $1 million, I'm going to buy it for $1 million, and guess what? That's the numismatic value. But really, the intrinsic value of that set is its fine gold or fine silver content in troy ounces.
Got you.
So it's an ounce of silver at the end of the day.
That's it.
That's it. So we don't really get into numismatic values. We really only want to know what's the intrinsic value. How much fine gold or silver is in that particular coin.
Got you. And this right here we was talking about. Because you're not going to break this thing into pieces when the time comes. So that's why this is very relevant. I love that point right there. So, you have what many would call a gold mine. How would you call it? A gold mine?
Well,
in Ghana?
Yes. We have 9 concessions. We have 9 leases.
Well, we should even say we have. It's a community thing.
Right.
Go ahead.
So I'm saying it as a community.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. We've been blessed. We have a mining company because we know and we understand that, as a community, we have to have a financial guarantee for our community projects.
Teach the truth.
We have to have a financial backing for our community projects.
Yes.
So instead of backing ourselves with credit instruments, credit enhancement, as we did before the crash, we found out that those credit instruments weren't a guarantee at all.
Gotcha.
When the system pulled back its credit.
Yes.
And they actually ended up leaving us in a hole, so therefore they were really a liability.
Gotcha.
Right. So now we understand or understand that we have to be in the mining sector. Because in the mining sector we can control the price of the gold and silver or our buying points. our buying thresholds, which is the cost of mining.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so now as we mine, we then warehouse that gold to now back our community. We sell some, of course, right? And when we sell that gold, we use to buy more equipment.
Got you.
So that we can mine faster and create more gold, okay, within the community. But then after that, what we do is we warehouse that gold, and then now what we're able to do is we're able to take those safekeeping receipts,
Yes.
and we're able to back our community-based projects with the gold sitting on deposit without selling the gold and using the cash.
So what we're saying is, figuratively speaking, we're not gonna call it currency, but euphemistically speaking, we are able to, by design, create a gold backing note, or not even be able to, but it already exists.
Yeah, absolutely. It's simply backing. Well, what we're talking about is credit enhancement. Okay. That's saying I have a company, I have a project, I have a credit instrument or a debt instrument.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Now I'm going to back that debt instrument with gold or silver, something tangible.
yes.
Or I'm going to back that instrument with a piece of real estate.
Yes.
Right? So we see it all the time in real estate deeds and notes.
That's true.
That real estate note is backed by a deed, which is guaranteed by the house.
That's right.
Okay, so that note is backed by something. So if you don't pay on that note, what happens? They come and take the guarantee,
That's right.
the house. Well, what we can do is we can take the gold and silver that we have on deposit in our precious metals accounts around the world, and we can create notes, and we can pledge the gold and silver to back that particular note.
Yes.
Okay, and therefore, because our gold or silver is on deposit in reputable depositories, which they can take the safekeeping receipt and verify the gold or silver is in that location, and now they can take that piece of paper, that credit instrument that you have, let's just say it's the note or the debt instrument, and a bank will take that in exchange for funds. You can borrow against it.
Wow. What else can you do with that?
You can pledge it to fund a particular project. You can now use this particular instrument as a credit enhancement to fund a particular project.
Wow. So it's another financial medium that is backed by something of significance and substance, probably more substance than anything.
Right. No currency that I know of. You know, they say the British pound is partially backed by gold.
Partially, yeah.
A percentage of it is backed by gold. I heard something about a few other countries, but we know that for the most part, no currencies are backed by anything. They're called fiat currencies.
That's right.
They're not backed by anything at this point.
Key term, fiat.
Right, but within our organization, our paper
That's right.
that we push out is backed by its face value in gold or silver.
That's right. That's powerful.
Very
To have
powerful.
the mining company in place, you're right. To have a mining company in place, first of all, is a pivotal move for any developing community. You're not even a developing community if you don't have a treasury and you don't have a line of security. You're not. You're not even serious. So what we're seeing is the epitome for community development.
Right. And if we're going to develop any type of community, we have to understand that we have to guarantee the community in some way, shape, or form in order to be taken serious.
That's right. So rather than pledge the labor of the people, and without giving them full disclosure, in addition to pledging their labor, we don't have to go that route nor undermine life itself. We have something of huge significance from Mother Earth's depository called gold and silver. And to have immediate access to it grants us the promise of being able to fully thrive in terms of our socioeconomical disposition. So, of course, the obvious should be asked, but I'm going to ask you, okay, not so obvious, but obvious the most. What would this be? What does this have to do with your ability to execute in regards to mining? I can imagine that you just don't dig up things and break up rocks and find gold and say you're just selling it. How extensive is your credentials? Tell us something about what it is you are empowered to do. What it is you have the right to do in Ghana, buying and selling, and
Right.
just take us where you are credential-wise.
Right. Well, we have gold operations in 3 countries. Mali, we have a joint venture with a mining association in Mali. Guinea, we have a gold company in Guinea, a mining company and buying company, but we're really focused on Ghana because of the stability of the government.
Yes.
The government is stable. So it would be hard to invest millions of dollars in mining in an unstable area, you know, where a coup may happen at any time.
That's right.
And then we're out, we lose. But Ghana is very stable. So what we did is we created a mining company in 2008.
Yes.
And a second mining company called Uriah Mining Company Limited.
That's right.
In Ghana.
Let's do it.
Okay. And Uriah Mining Company Limited, we have our own, we have 9 concessions. What we call in the States a claim, or what some would call a gold mine.
Gotcha.
Right. These concessions are about, give or take, 25 acres each. Right. We even just picked up a Hardrock mining site, which is a 20-year project. Very, very lucrative situation. So what we have is, what this represents is, it's a license, a buying license within Ghana. It comes with a metals account within a subsidiary company of Ghana called the Precious Metals, the Precious Minerals Marketing Company, the PMMC. Okay. Now, we have a deposit account with them and a buying relationship with this particular number.
Gotcha.
This is our license number that licenses us to sell to the government of Ghana.
Gotcha. Are there any limitations to who you could sell to, or does it also, is it not limited or exclusive to Ghana, or can you execute commercially beyond
Oh, absolutely.
that jurisdiction?
Absolutely. I can sell gold to anywhere, to anybody in the world, and export gold from Ghana with this particular license anywhere in the world.
Cool. So you're not just talking on an individual scale, deposit some money here and sell to your friend. You're talking international commerce.
International commerce. We can sell into Dubai. We can sell into Switzerland. We can sell into the U.S. We can sell into Panama, Brazil,
And you are.
China.
And you are.
Yeah, we have clients all over the world that we sell gold to.
That's right. Just making sure we get that straight. So as far as licensing is concerned, what are some of the things or credentials that you have that will help us better be able to understand our abilities and our capacities as a community with such potential? Because we always need to know, why should we invest in our own community? And of course, we've been given a great deal of vague opportunities. But this is very vivid, so I would like you to expound on some of the things that you have and the right you have to execute in regards to the corresponding certifications and things of that nature. You know, what are the things that you have that you had to get to this level?
All right. Well, first of all, we had to set up a mining company.
Yes.
Okay. It's a corporation, but it's Uriah Mining Company Limited.
Yes.
In Ghana. Once that corporation is duly established and the scope of your mission and your vision is duly recorded within the government, now you can petition for the license to be a licensed buyer, exporter.
Yes.
Right. Within the country.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I can buy gold within the country of Ghana and export it to any other country, to any other buyer of my choosing.
Gotcha.
There's a requirement that we have to sell so much gold to the country as well. Okay.
Understood.
Yeah, so we have to sell them 1/2 kilo of gold a month. Okay, in order to maintain our license.
Yes.
Okay, so we've been licensed since 2008.
Got you.
Our record is stellar. Our record is stellar.
That's important.
Yeah, anybody can verify us, and you know, and I have no problem with it. I've had, not even going to talk about that.
So the next bit, let's do it.
Right. So yeah, so our credentials are the buying license, which is also the exporter's license.
Got you.
Right. But we also have licensed mining concessions where we mine alluvial, which is river wash,
Yes.
and also hard rock mining sites.
Got you.
In Ghana.
Got you. All right. So, what I want to go into, you know, mildly, I want to get into the grit of the work, because you said something real interesting to me during the course of our deliberation earlier. And you said it's to the point you could be walking on gold and wouldn't even know it. When you made that statement, I was in awe, because after really getting a look at you putting in the work in Ghana, as you own land out there in the Ashanti region, and in fact, this is where a lot of the mining is taking place. And now I really see what it all amounted to, because that's some tough work right there. And it's back-breaking work. And the thing is, as a community that's developing, we have some strong brothers pioneering, doing manual labor. And we are looking to fund this endeavor to build our community and pretty much create a situation, as we are homed in on the salient and fixed observation of world peace. We understand there's a direct correlation between the lack of education, options, and criminality. Now, here it is, we have a medium, right, where we can pretty much create jobs in a capacity that runs unparalleled to most of what has been presented to us as a community thus far. This is I'm not going to say it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but it literally is a golden opportunity, no pun intended. And we have to seize the chance while it exists. So what happens is, as I'm looking at the video, and I see you in there, a true leader, because it's one thing to lead a charge, it's another thing to be part of the charge, right? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, he's making sure it goes down. A lot of us talk about gold and silver, but we really don't understand the work ethic that comes behind it, the process that it goes through, the chemistry that is relative to the actual feat. So I want you to kind of expound on some of the things that I was seeing in regards to the process, because the process takes me to a whole nother dimension to see how much. I mean, right now gold is like about what, $1,700 an ounce, in or around $1,700 an ounce. You know, many of us don't realize this, as we keep seeing the "we buy your gold, we buy gold." You know, money for gold, cash in exchange for gold, and we will forewarn you not to do it under no circumstances or conditions. Don't turn your gold in. That's going to be another video, and something we are discussing in the community. But you need to stop doing that, participating in this charade. But what we're going to talk about now is some of the process that we go through, starting from the ore. We want to go through the phases and the synopsis. What we saw in the video.
Yeah.
What are we seeing in this video that's playing right now?
Okay. Well, there's two types of mining sites.
Yes.
You have what's called a river wash site.
Yes.
Or alluvial mining site. And this is basically where these alluvial sites are ancient riverbeds that, as the rock eroded over millions of years, the rocks would break up, right?
Yes.
And they would hit each other, thus releasing their gold content into the soil.
Wow.
And so as water would flow,
yes,
right, the gold is 19 times heavier than water, so it would sink to the lowest level. Now you have to be mindful at that time with the great eruptions and the flow of water, you're dealing at bedrock.
Yes.
And then you have layers and levels above bedrock. Okay.
Yes.
So bedrock stops the gold because it can't wedge itself any further. That makes sense. So what we do in the alluvial is we dig until we get to bedrock.
Gotcha.
And then as we find where those, what we call veins, so to speak,
yes.
or those layers where the gold has settled, right? Then we process that gold.
That's right. Gotcha.
Now, what you'll see in the video is something totally different. It's the hard rock. It predates the alluvial.
Gotcha.
Which means before that rock broke up and went down and tumbled and released this gold content into the soil, right? It was just in a rock format. So we now take that rock because it's concentrated. So think about it like this. If a rock is hitting another rock and over hundreds of miles it's releasing bits and pieces of gold here and there. But think about it, if you can get that rock before it started disintegrating, it would be concentrated. So that concentrated rock holds a lot more gold, right, per ton than the equivalent in dirt. Right, so the hard rock mining sites are, it's concentrated gold and therefore it's more profitable. Okay. So we just acquired one of those mining sites, which is about a 20 to 30 year project.
Yes.
Right. So what you see in the videos is rocks from our mining site as well as rocks that we bought from other hard rock mining sites.
Gotcha.
Okay. We then take that gold, we take those rocks and we crush the rocks to a consistency of sand. We can actually process the gold content from it at that point.
You know what's interesting is when you tell the average brother or sister, or anybody for the most part, I can see anything about mining for gold, we tend to think it comes out kind of looking like this, but just smoothed out.
Yeah.
We kind of think it comes out kind of looking like this, but just smoothed out.
Yeah.
We kind of think we just finding gold.
Right.
And we see gold.
Right.
So this video blows me away because we are stigmatized by mythos. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at the video and I'm like, now chemistry class has so much more relevancy.
Right, there you go.
So much more.
Right.
And now I'm interested all over again.
Right.
All over again. Right?
I mean, if they told me that I could do an essay on gold and with chemistry, I would have been a lot more interested in chemistry.
And of course, when he says the word essay, because it's going to happen, he's not talking about a written report.
Right.
I'm telling you. It's the jargon. They do this on purpose.
Right.
Somebody's going to think an essay in chemistry is not English class. So we're going to have a video to break down the essay.
Right.
You know, but he's using gold mining jargon at this particular point in the post or the aftermath of the mining. So we go into the phase of the ore, and then we find ourselves where on the second phase. What's taking place?
Okay, so once we have our ore, we then crush that ore because we now have to extract the fine gold from that ore.
Yes.
Right. We actually take it through a third process, which is a milling process.
Yes.
Where we take the sand consistency, almost like a coarse beach sand, and now we smooth it out to a baby powder consistency. Therefore, releasing even more gold from the ore, right? Once it's gone through its milling process, we then wet it. Because if we don't wet it before we wash the gold, it'll actually float on the water. So what you'll see in the video is you'll see a guy actually, mixing water into the ore, making a mud out of it. So,
and it's confusing to the mind that doesn't know what's going on because it's like, what are they doing and where's the gold at? Because now this just looks like mud.
It just looks like mud.
And prior to that, it just looked like rocks.
Yeah.
And when it didn't just look like rocks, it looked like rocks that were rubbed across something that potentially was gold. Now, I'm going to rewind a little bit because I remember when the rock was shown right before us. And I'm like, that's corny. Like, where's the gold? And I mean, are they looking for rust or what are they looking for?
Well, what happens is
Because it just looks like a rock, and there's no way if I walked by it without this knowledge and without your assistance, I wouldn't have a clue that I'm walking on gold, like you said.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me tell you something. Before the country Ghana was renamed Ghana, the name of the country was the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast.
Interesting.
Right. So the entire country is filled with gold. They say you can mine gold in Ghana for the next 1,000 years and never run out of gold.
Say it again.
You can mine gold in Ghana, formerly the Gold Coast, for the next 1,000 years and still never exhaust the gold that you're mining. Wow. That's how much gold is in Ghana. It's everywhere. It's on the beaches.
Land in Ghana is a good look.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's in the streets, the mud huts. I know a guy in Ghana, in the western region, right on the border of the central and western region. He's buying old houses from people, or old mud houses, what they call them. And he's processing the gold out of the mud. So their houses are made out of mud with gold in it.
I hope people are listening to what he's saying. Man.
So it's called the Gold Coast.
Yes.
So what we do,
the rust.
Right.
Are they looking for rust or?
So when we're looking at a stone, right, we're really looking for traces that there's gold in that particular stone.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you can see nuggets in the stone, small nuggets, which tell you, hey, you know, there's microscopic gold in this particular sample.
Yes.
If I can see a larger nugget of gold,
Yes.
right? But a lot of times what we're looking for is we're looking for rust. We're looking for discolored, rust-colored rocks. And the reason being is because when this earth was in its early stages of formation, volcanoes were erupting.
Yes.
These minerals were a part of the volcanic activity. They were liquefied, they were lava.
Yes.
So the metallic gold, its atomic weight, and other metals with similar atomic weight, like iron, right? They kind of move together based on the flow of that particular lava flow.
Gotcha.
Right? Because of its weight.
Yes.
So when it connected with water, it hit water, it would cool down and harden.
Mm-hmm.
But because of its atomic weight, they would harden together.
Yes.
So where you will find gold, almost 100% of the time, you'll find iron.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Right. So what we look for when we're looking at different rocks is I'm looking for rusty rocks. Why? Because if I find a rusty rock, right, in a known gold area,
Yes.
right, proven to have gold within the rocks, then chances are I'll find gold in that rock as well.
Wow.
It's a whole other process separating the iron from the gold.
Yes.
It's a bear. It can be done, it's a bear, but that's what I'm looking for. So when I'm looking at a rock that you'll see in front of the camera, I'm looking for rust throughout the rock.
Wow.
Not to say all rocks are like that. We have some white rocks with hardly no iron in it whatsoever, but it still has gold in it.
Gotcha.
But for the main part, an easy thing for me is if I can find a dark colored rock that's rusty,
Yes.
or a brown rock that's rusty,
Yes.
then I can almost guarantee you gold is there.
Wow. Wonder if that means black people have more gold content. But we're gonna move on. Just a thought. Heart full of gold. So we on phase 3. We on phase 3. What else is taking place when we watch this video? Just to kind of.
Okay, so once you see the guy, he's mixing the smooth iron ore,
Yes.
or the baby powder iron ore
Yes.
that's just been milled, he's wetting it because we're getting it ready for the washing process. And in the washing process, what we're doing is we create a trough about 8 feet long, at about a 45-degree angle.
Yes.
Maybe a little bit less.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're doing is we want the flow and the rate of water to carry the lighter material off into the waste. And because gold is 19 times heavier than water, it'll actually get caught in the material that we have to catch it, or to stop it, while the lighter material just flow right off. So the heavies stay within our blanket. We either use miner's moss or blankets or whatever is available. And then once the heavy materials, the irons and the gold and everything else, even the heavy rocks, are collected, we consider that to be what's called a concentrate, which means the majority of the lighter ore material, the non-metallic material, has washed off the trough.
Yes.
Okay? And what's left in the blanket is concentrated material, or concentrated ore.
Gotcha.
And it contains the majority of our gold.
Understood.
Right. Now, we will lose some gold because during the grinding and the milling process, it actually flattens out like paper.
Yes.
Like and we call it flour.
Yeah.
So it actually floats on top of the water, and it floats out into the waste.
Wow.
Yeah. So we can't ever collect 100% of the gold, but with technology, we can get a large portion of it.
Got you.
Right. So once that process takes place, and we now clean our blankets out or our miner's moss out, we wash it into a basin, and we collect those concentrates.
Because we're going to have another follow-up to this whole processing as far as how to extract the gold from the ore, how many transitions it goes through. And then, of course, we're going to go to the essay part of the gold, which is probably one of the more fascinating aspects or elements to the whole process. But are we missing anything else in this video that we took a look at? We saw the mixing and the washing take place. And idealistically, what I would say is, again, for membership, be on the lookout, because we have so much that we're putting forth, because we have a great deal of opportunities specifically for membership in regards to funding this particular program, right? Because we will be the benefactors as a community, and as far as having gold-backed debt instruments, in addition to that, even being able to purchase the gold for a significantly cheaper rate.
Now comes the sovereign and illustrious supreme grand apperception of our NuCovenant community, Nisut Amunre Sen Atumre, known by his peers as Brother POLIGHT. NuCovenant now has heart cells in Ghana located in the Ashanti region. Members interested in allocating 2/3 of their dues towards our mining endeavors to purchase technology to make more efficient our gold mining tasks in Ghana are offered 10 to 20% off the market value of gold, which is presently worth more than platinum today, which is near $1,700 an ounce. This means members will be saving or making $150 to $300 off of every ounce that they purchase. The most highly appraised assets today are humans in the form of labor, real estate, gold, silver, and other precious metals in majority. Idealistically, what members have been earning from NuCovenant's real estate methodologies, they are encouraged to convert their earnings into gold and silver more especially. With NuCovenant, you have direct access to gold mining, thus empowering you with a 10 to 20% discount rate on the market value of gold. No one else is doing this for you. On January 16, 2013, and on January 30th, 2013, Brother POLIGHT will be giving a dissertation for members of NuCovenant and the general public on how to transcend the mundane clauses of fiat by investing in inflationary, deflationary, and recessionary-proof assets such as gold. He will also speak on the expedience of every household erecting treasuries and creating debt instruments backed by gold that one may borrow against or pledge to fund projects. On March 17th at the National Black Theater in Harlem, Brother POLIGHT will be expounding on these subject matters and more. Proficiency exams will be conducted on March 17th as well. To all NuCovenant members, be on the lookout for Lesson 5 titled The NuCovenant GM5. We give thanks to our sovereign and illustrious Supreme Grand Apperception, Nisut Amunre Sen Atumre.